everyone, it's Jovana and welcome to Marketing Automation Made Simple podcast. It's another exciting episode I have lined up for you and thank you so much for tuning in again. And I would also like to thank Andreas Posch, who reached out on LinkedIn because he likes my podcast and just proves that I'm not the only one here talking to myself. So thank you so much, Andreas. I really appreciate you reaching out, and it's amazing to hear that you are in Switzerland and you're tuning in. So that's cool. Based on our last episode that I ran with Milena and we talked about ChatGPT, well, that was last month, was it? No, maybe around end of Feb. We are now almost close to end of March, and I feel like that episode is now out of date because ChatGPT just launched their version 4. And the version 4 can do so many other amazing things. So the AI can actually read video and image. And since then, it's also been a paid and upgraded version of ChatGPT. But I think the free version of it still is very, very cool. The other thing that's changed since you last heard me, since we last had this talk, is HubSpot is launching a very exciting thing. What did I call it? Chatspot.ai. And Chatspot.ai is something really cool coming up to help you use and utilize your CRM and have an actual assistant helping you sort through your data. So you could literally ask a little assistant chatspot to produce a report and give you top 5 accounts, give you top revenue for the month. It can also clean up and create some automations as well. You could say, hey, can you send a welcome email to my new client, Joe? And you could specify all of that in the chat, and the chatbot will actually do all of that work for you. So that's pretty much literally without you having to lift a finger is something exciting that HubSpot, I think, are leading the way. No doubt that we will see this happening across other platforms, but very exciting, a big game changer for us as well. I know that we serve a lot of customers and clients overseas, but as we talk to different businesses, I feel like the AI technology is taking off so fast that we didn't even have a chance to really transform businesses with just what I call basic automations, simple automations. Most of our business customers don't have a lead magnet or a sales hook or a way to capture leads. I'm really amazed that we're still at this level, and yet here's this AI tool coming in and disrupting the space again. So I'm hoping to see some massive digital transformation even for our small business customers, because I think it's going to be a transformation for them, a game changer. It will save them a ton of time, and that's pretty much why we want to use technology in the first place. But today's episode is all about segmentation. It's another, I guess, tech buzzword that a lot of these CRMs are throwing at us and saying how much we could benefit from segmentation. But I still haven't seen a lot of our business owner clients actually making sense of that. So they come to us, and I've also recently just presented to a group of 60 businesses where they're all talking about streamlining their systems, their sales and marketing systems. They sign up to a CRM, whether that's a big name marketing automation platform or just a small basic email marketing platform. And the first thing they will see when they log in or they start to build their automations and import different contacts and lists is that they have to now segment. They have to segment who their leads. They have to segment their clients. They now need to skip leads and not treat leads the same way as they would treat their clients. Then they have to instruct the tool to be able to do that. And every tool will have their own ways of doing that. Sometimes you'll need a tag. Sometimes you need a list, and that is going to be a nightmare if you have to use the list to do all sorts of segmentations. The purpose of this episode is really to cover off segmentation at a high level and to give you some ideas, and so you can visualize something for your business and imagine your customers going through your business, and then try to even just imagine that before you start logging into your CRM. because that's where we all get stuck, is once we see it, once we sit at the desk and we see a blank canvas, we might actually just freeze. So when it comes to technology, we do feel overwhelmed. As I said, OpenAI has now come in and is going to probably do some interesting things about segmentation and help you determine that. We still have to use our brain to, instruct the tool. As a mentor of mine said, if we think about our CRM as a tool, we have to think about it as if you're a painter. Imagine yourself being a Picasso. And if you're not a Picasso and you buy the most expensive paintbrush that you can find, is that paintbrush going to make you into a $1 billion artist? Are you going to be the next Picasso? No, you probably won't, because everyone is different. Everyone starts from a different angle. They have different backgrounds, different skills, experiences, abilities. It's really just up to us individually to make this work. And sometimes you need help. So we help how to basically workshop and brainstorm ideas around their journeys, because it is definitely a hard thing to think about on top of other things that you have to do in your business. And as a marketer, it's also a challenge because you are probably doing 24/7 your marketing activities. You don't necessarily tend to do strategy around technology and marketing together. That's another skill set. So you would need to have a good team behind you to try and make sense of the systems and how it all works. So for this purpose, I'm trying to make it simple, because that's what our podcast is called, Marketing Automation Made Simple. So I'm trying to simplify this. So let's start from what is segmentation. At a high level, segmentation is a process of grouping your customers into 4 categories. So the 4 categories that you see, actually, some people may argue there are 5 categories, but let's do 4. Psychographic segmentation. Psychographic, that's actually a marketing terminology. So if you ever studied marketing, the textbook, if you pick up your marketing textbook, you will see psychographic. And psychographic stands for things like personality, hobbies, beliefs, lifestyles. Demographic segmentation, we all know that: age, gender, income, occupation. There are other elements like behavioral segmentations. So we want to understand the spending habits, buyer behavior. When is the ideal time to shop? When do they buy from you? When do they open your emails the most? When we talk about launching different products with our clients, we often think about, well, let's have a look at the data of your existing database, and let's look at the behaviors of what's happening with your existing database and try and cleanse the database as much as possible. So we don't want to keep people who are never going to engage with your content. If they don't take any action, then they're probably not going to be a good lead. So we need to understand what type of behaviors we want to reward and not reward, which ones are active, which ones are inactive. We can determine that easily using technology. And geographic segmentation. Geographic, obviously, we know location. If you really want to go down and drill down to a level like zip codes and proximity to your business, like distance, and geofencing is another cool term that I think Google was driving. In paid advertising, people use it in retail shops, where they can determine if a customer walks into your competitor's shop and you must be like down the road. They could actually, you could decide to send your customer an SMS that says, hey, there's 20% off our stuff. Can you come into our shop instead of our competitors? And the 5th category that I haven't mentioned is something called firmographic. Firmographic is mostly for B2B, corporate type of companies. If you want to find out the size of a company, anything to do with an organization that you're trying to attract, trying to nurture, it's more an account-based level, and I think it's used mainly in the acquisitions, mergers, and big company. I haven't seen much of that use in the small business, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to. You don't have to think about that for your business. So if you're in the B2B, just Google firmographic and you'll find what that means. So having a clear idea of your market segments will definitely help you leverage this across your sales, marketing, and product. A good segmentation strategy will help you find what I call the holy grail of marketing, which is really your product market fit. Our whole objective in business is to find really one good offer that converts. And that offer has to fit the product and the market that you're actually selling. So the product market fit terminology is probably used in the SaaS, software as a service business. For example, if you're a service business and are working on your product development strategy, you'd be interested, of course, to learn more about who your customers are. How would you start with segmentation? Where would you begin? One way to do this is to run a survey, customer survey, to identify what your customers want and need, how they interact with your products and services, where they live, what they do outside of work. Some of the questions that you want to identify specifically for the problems that your business is solving for them. And sometimes running customer service is not going to reveal everything about your customers. And if we have a good CRM or a marketing automation platform, it can definitely support you. So far, we can still rely, I believe, in Google cookies. And once you build a database of your users, your customers, your leads, you get to start to look and see what they're doing on your website. So you could track and see what their behavior is like. And if you're doing any type of promotions, product offerings, you could essentially start looking at how often they visit these type of pages. And the frequency of visits can actually determine the type of offering that you might want to introduce later on. So why is segmentation important? In marketing, we have a saying that goes something like this. If you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. To test this theory, you can just read today's headlines in the news. The media companies or big journalists are very, very good at segmenting information because you have to be able to get really good high amount of clicks, and you have to be able to cut through the clutter because there is so much information out there. So you need to be very clever with your subject lines, but you also need to be able to break through that noise of information and be able to deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time. So it's very interesting to look at the papers sometimes to see what the news people are doing. But from a sales perspective, a well-segmented lead is a qualified lead, and a qualified lead won't require too much effort for your sales team to close. So if your sales teams can actually close deals and they can do it fast, I think they'll be quite happy. There will be a happy bunch of salespeople, and your customers will be also happy. And from a product development perspective, a well-defined segment will ensure that the product sells itself because it meets all the needs of your target market. So the best example, companies that exist that are perfectly aligned to the product market fit idea is the Apple. Apple. Love Apple. I have Apple phone. I love the design of Apple. I don't use Mac in my business. I still use Microsoft. I love the new Surface. I've got the new laptop, the Surface Pro. And but what I love about Apple is the whole idea around their customer experience and how much they care about the customers using the products, supporting the usage of that product. Through having retail shops, so having both physical and online support, and really they protect their product like it's no one's business. So Apple has an advantage because they have a massive brand. Google is another one. Netflix, big companies, they do pretty well. They've done the hard yards of measuring and testing what works and what doesn't. And so you can definitely save your marketing dollars by outsourcing your marketing efforts to your customers, because that's what essentially they're doing. Big companies are going out and saying, look how great our product is, and then the customers do all the talking and sharing it with their friends. As you can see, the benefit of segmentation can save you time in the long run, but also can help you attract and convert your best customers. So once we define our ideal customer segments, now we have the ability to leverage our preferred marketing automation platform. So this is really the time I would start thinking about which software do I really want to sign up to, which one do I want to use, which one do I like to use, which features are actually applicable, because there are some platforms that won't allow you to do something called site tracking, which is going to help you with tracking behaviors on your website. So let's use this analogy. So let's have an analogy of how we can use technology to amplify. I call it amplify our segmentation strategies. So if you imagine yourself walking through a high street shopping retail, maybe you're in a shopping mall where you're presented with many different retailers, because it's very competitive in the retail market. In order for each retailer to entice you into their shop, they will need to be very creative. They will probably need to specialize in certain segments. Depending on the gender that you are, you may actually want to walk into a male fashion or female-only shops. And so that is a very basic segmentation, because you now as a consumer can decide whether this is something of interest. So you may or may not walk into a shop based on those two things. If I'm shopping for my husband, I might actually walk into a male fashion retail shop. But that's something that as a business owner, you want to find out. You want to know about your customers. Another analogy is once you enter your desired store, the sales assistant doesn't have an idea of who you are. You're a stranger. They only know that you might be interested in some products. And as you move around the shop, you might actually hear a sales assistant advising you, promoting something exclusive in-store specials only available on the day when you walk in. And this announcement would be of great interest if you are in the mood to shop, since you are already browsing products. And if you're in the shop, you might as well spend the money because you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So that's something that is what I call an incentive, enticing, lead magnet. And when we're talking about shoppers, people who are going into a retail shop, they specifically are primed to spend the money to buy products, and you want to sell the products, of course. You can imagine that scenario playing out online, on your website, on your Shopify, on your WooCommerce store. That's the challenge with our digital marketing, is that how do we translate this offline experience into online, and having a smart way of capturing those leads while they're in the mood to shop is very important. Sometimes people are not ready to buy from you today, and that's okay, but we still need to have a way to capture them, because we've just spent all this money in attracting them. So the best way to do to convert them into a customer is to actually capture them into your database. Imagine if you had technology in your business, and let's consider that scenario of somebody walking into your shop. How helpful would it be for your sales assistant to know who they are? And if you're able to quickly identify this lead, then you'll be able to see a bit more about their behaviors and the habits. You might see, oh, Jovana keeps purchasing XYZ. I recently just bought some jeans. I was looking for black jeans, but maybe I needed a white t-shirt to go with that. But we can then start painting a picture like a Picasso of our ideal customer as they're walking through the shop. If this prospect or lead, if they lived in your CRM from day one, when they opted in through, let's say, your website, or manually you enter their details into a CRM, your sales assistant would be able to know and recommend other items based on their browsing history. So that is something that you could start thinking about if you are looking to merge or streamline how you want to have that customer journey look like for your business. So to amplify this, you could even drill down further and encourage the newly converted customers to come back and buy from you, not just once, but many times over. And that's where the power of marketing automation or technology is to get people to your shop over and over again, so they can buy not just once, as I said, they can buy many times over. So once that segmentation is in play, and you can start with something very basic, it doesn't have to be complicated. Basic segmentation, in my mind, is what everybody needs in any business, whatever business you have. You want to be able to easily identify who a lead is and who a customer is. Because those two things, because you can't treat them the same way. Once you have an idea of who your lead is, you'll be able to have different type of content specific for them. You'll be able to have different strategies around that lead. Once somebody becomes a customer, that's when you think about, well, what is defined as a customer? For me, somebody I would call a customer or a client is someone who pays the money. When they purchase, well, that's a trigger to do something. They made a purchase. Do you want them to go to a default message that says success? Here's the invoice. If that's something that every platform offers, that's fine. That's very default. But is that the experience that you want for your customers? Depending on what they're buying, if you're selling information products, you might actually offer them something very different. You might lead them to a different page. You might lead them to a video where it amplifies who you are. And I haven't seen many e-commerce stores do this, which would be amazing. And it could set you apart from a cluttered environment of all the e-commerce brands that are out there. I'm hoping that once you have some kind of level of segmentation in your business, your customers will actually notice this. They will feel a newfound appreciation of your brand, and they will enjoy interacting with you on a personal level because you understand who they are. Sometimes you don't have to say things. You don't have to say directly to your customers, I know who you are, but you say it indirectly through understanding what they like and what they don't like. Really, it's about being smart around how we use technology and segmentation. I feel like it should be the number one thing we do before we even sign up to a tool. We don't need a CRM to actually start thinking about mapping out different segments based on our customer journey. Something I haven't covered is that what happens if you don't have this, if you don't have the segmentation? Well, a lot of businesses survive. A lot of businesses do this without thinking. But, you start to look like every other business in your industry. Do you want to look like every other business? It could be potentially a competitive advantage to be able to separate your customers and start communicating directly with them in different ways, the way they want to be spoken to, I guess, the way they want to be communicated, maybe via email, maybe via SMS, maybe it's your sales assistant getting a notification and calling them. Essentially, sometimes segmentation, having a good segmentation strategy can actually help you grow your business and differentiate your brand in the marketplace. So if you liked my tips, you are welcome to sign up to our newsletter. You can actually download 30 marketing automation tasks that can save you time and money. That's a really quick checklist that you can start linking to your business and thinking about your business. If you just go to bumperleads.com/tasks, you can download that for yourself. And if you're looking for some help in workshopping ideas around segmentation, customer journey, if you want us to review anything, feel free to reach out. We have some done with you training that we can do. There are some elements online that you can do, but also we can do one-on-one as well to help you grow your business. I really love this area of marketing automation, is to be able to strategically think about your customers because they are ultimately going to make or break your business, really. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did, leave us a 5-star review, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully I won't be replaced by some AI, that's for sure. I'll see you next month.